Hello everybody, it is Broderick Sotoff here, and in today's episode I'll be discussing SMGs in Call of Duty and how they affect the game and if they're good or bad. And let's get started, guys. I'll just give you a brief summary of the gameplay. I am playing Domination on Nuketown with a Chicom SMG, if you don't really know what that is, but I'm guessing most of you know what it is anyway if you're watching this video. Anyway, I'll be discussing the SMGs and their effects in Call of Duty, so let's get started. Let's start with, I think Modern Warfare 2 is a good one to start with, because World at War didn't really have SMGs, and oh yeah, World at War did have SMGs. It's got the PPSH, MP40. What am I saying, guys? I forget these things pretty easily. So let's start off with World at War, as I don't really know as much COD 4. I know a few guns in COD 4, but I've played a lot more World at War than Call of Duty 4. So let's get started with that. So in Call of Duty World at War, I think the SMGs are very much overpowered. You've got the PPSH, the MP40, the Thompson's not very overpowered, but it still does give a bit of a kick when you're going up against an assault rifle, and I think that's a very big disadvantage of assault rifles, because it sort of renders them useless, because when you can get the same range with a submachine gun on a Call of Duty sized map, there's no real point if you're wanting to win the game to use a assault rifle, because they're a lot slower. They make you run slower as well, and they generally have a you just don't move as smooth with them, and it just renders them useless in games, especially World at War, when you can have the ultra fast firing PPSH and ultra damaging MP40, where you can just get all the snipers with it, depending on which map it is. But some World at War maps are pretty big, and you can't really give all the credit to submachine guns for winning the game. But anyway, let's get onto the classic Modern Warfare 2. I find that Modern Warfare 2 was definitely not dominated by submachine guns. You get the occasional guy using the US UMP45, and I think the assault rifles definitely took care of that game. You had some pretty sweet assault rifles and some crappy ones as well. But the submachine guns in that, I think they ranged from very crappy to very good. And some of the submachine guns, if you're not really into Call of Duty and you don't really know the guns, you'd think the it's UMP45 is actually an assault rifle, because it sort of looks like one. It's got very good range, it's got very good everything. With the MP5 and everything, they just look like standard submachine guns. They don't perform the best, and they sort of do get dominated on Modern Warfare 2 by the overpowering assault rifles and LMGs, definitely LMGs. But they do have something that some other CODs don't have. They have very fast fire rates in Call of Duty 5 and 6, just to make them a bit more usable. Obviously you're going to get some guns with slow fire rates, but most of them were pretty fast, and that sort of made up for it in close range. So any close maps on Modern Warfare 2, submachine gun was a thing to use, but medium sized, you didn't really have an advantage. Now let's go on to a different story, and that is Black Ops 1. When Black Ops 1 was released, the first gun I ever used was the AK-74U, and that assault rifle is just ridiculously good. There's no flaws to it apart from its 30 round mag, which is sort of standardized in Call of Duty, but it had nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I don't even think they patched it, because it was almost the perfect gun to use on any map. It could get even long range kills, and it was ultimate in close range as well. You could get a kimbo with it, or I'll just call it a kimbo. That means you've got one gun in each hand, and it was a beast of a gun. But you also got, on the other end of the spectrum, some crappy guns such as the Scorpion, the MPL, I'm assuming it's called that, and they just don't compare whatsoever to the greater AK-74U. And I found with Black Ops, if you're using submachine guns, it was either that or the MP5K, because all the other submachine guns were pretty useless. And that is probably very true. Anyway guys, now we're on to Modern Warfare 3. Basically I found Modern Warfare 3's submachine guns to be almost like Modern Warfare 2. They had very crappy assault rifles, that's the only difference. So basically you had a lot of weak weapons, and that sort of made it a more leveled playing field. I don't really have too much to say on Modern Warfare 3 because personally I just hated that game. It's my most disliked Call of Duty, and I know you guys will say, oh, but it improved on everything, but I just think it didn't improve at all. I just hated that Call of Duty. So I don't want to talk about that one anymore. Let's go into Black Ops 2, what we're seeing right now. So in Black Ops 2, you get the submachine guns. There's a lot of them, to be honest, and they are all medium to good in terms of killability in Call of Duty, because you get almost even the DLC Peacekeeper, it's not too overpowered. I think the most overpowered one is probably the MSMC. I almost refuse to use that weapon because it's basically a AK-74U. So if you liked the AK-74U, you have to use the MSMC. I swear it even has the same sound when you're firing it, and it's probably the same mechanics and everything. But anyway, I think it's good that they added a burst submachine gun. You don't always see that in Call of Duties. It sort of levels the playing field a bit. But I guess you can spam it and it's pretty beastly, but it still doesn't compare to some of the World at War submachine guns. And I think COD 4 had some alright ones, like the Scorpion was absolutely crap in that game. I just hate that gun, but again, I think the UMP-45 was in that one, and that's a good submachine gun. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I've added some color correction to the gameplay to make it a lot better. So anyway guys, see you later. Have a nice day.